Hi everyone, aLovingSoul here, hope this video finds you well. Today we're going to be learning how to unlock your MapleStory character's true inner potential. We're talking about inner ability. We'll be breaking down the inner ability system as well as how to optimize your inner ability at different stages of your MapleStory progression. Let's get into it. Beginning at level 50, you'll be able to unlock your inner ability with the quest, the Eye Opener and your white light bulb. In just a few NPC chats, you'll get the default inner ability for a whopping 9 all stat. But trust me, it gets better. Inner ability has a lot of similarities with item potentials, namely with tiers. You start off at rare and you can tier up to epic, unique, and finally legendary. I'll be covering the two main ways to improve your inner ability, which are going to be through honor and miracle circulators. Keep in mind that miracle circulators are going to be easier to obtain in Reboot, as you can pick them up in the Reboot cash shop for 19 million mesos. You typically accumulate honor over the course of your MapleStory journey by picking up medals of honor from monsters you take out as you train. You're going to be using 100 honor at a time to try to tier up, though there is a risk of tearing down, or you can lock your tier in lines depending on your needs. The end goal is to eventually get your inner ability to legendary and optimize it for your specific class. Now let's talk about how we're going to get there. For the early game, so players below level 200, I typically use the 100 honor option to reroll until I get a usable first line at the epic tier. First lines that I usually settle for at epic are attack or magic attack depending on your class, buff duration, item drop rate, or mesos obtained just for nice little bonuses while training. Now let's cover mid-game and onwards. This will be reboot centric as it's going to be using miracle circulators for the most part. So for the mid-game, you'll probably be level 200 or higher, and I want you to set aside a few 100 million mesos to maybe a billion mesos if you want to be safe, depending on how much you plan to optimize your inner ability. We're going to be working to get our inner ability to the legendary tier as well as get a usable first line. Starting from our current epic tier ability, continue to use the 100 honor rerolls until you tier up to the unique tier. Once you get to the unique tier, use miracle circulators from the reboot cash up to tier up to legendary. Miracle circulators are pretty much the equivalent of black cubes except for inner ability. There's no risk of dropping your inner ability's tier, and you can choose between your new or previous inner ability. Now that our inner ability is legendary, we're going to want to get a usable first line. In the process, I simply dub first line optimization. The process is simple. Use miracle circulators until you get something good on the first line. One thing to note is that the top line will always be a legendary tier line, and the second and third line can fluctuate between the rare and unique potential lines. There are a lot of very good options for legendary inner ability lines, and here's some that I will look out for. 20% mesos obtained on reboot is always a nice option because meso makes the maple world go around. Then there's the usually just good and sometimes optimal lines of 20% boss damage and attack speed +1. If you're curious on what's actually the best inner ability for your specific class, I'd check out an external guide. I'll put a link to Aldu's website, which has an optimal inner ability for every class in the game. Now if you've gotten the first line of your dreams and don't care too much about what you get on your second or third line, you can go ahead and lock the legendary tier and first line and roll until you get a good second line. You're going to want to repeat the process for your third line, but obviously you'll also have to lock your second line. You'll quickly see that this process uses up honor very quickly, so look out in the patch notes for Sunny Sunday events which offer a 50% discount on honor rerolling. I think this mid-game approach is perfectly fine for a majority of players. I personally took this approach on my Kana. I ended up with 20% mesos obtained on my first line, and then used honor to reroll my second and third line, getting 15% item drop rate and 9% boss damage. For the sake of completeness, I wanted to talk about the super endgame scenario where you might really care about your second line and your inner ability. Let's take the classic example of the Dark Knight class. They really want buff duration for sacrifice, but also want attack speed as their top line. So let's get the most buff duration on the second line, 38% buff duration. Let's call this process second line optimization. Instead of rolling for the top line, we'll be using miracle circulators and rolling until we hit the second line that we care about, which in this case is 38% buff duration. The reason why we're taking this approach with miracle circulators is twofold. Miracle circulators guarantee that you're always going to get the max value at the tier. You'll always get that 38% buff duration. But if you used honor, you might get anywhere from 32 to 38% on a unique line. Second, rolling a unique line with honor is extremely rare. According to the strategy wiki, there's only about a 5% chance to even get a unique inner ability line, let alone a line that you care about. So second line optimization is going to be very expensive in terms of mesos. You're going to be buying a lot of miracle circulators. but it's much cheaper in terms of honor. This approach is really for the late game min-maxers that want the absolute perfect inner ability, though you still have to get a little lucky and hope that you get a usable third line. And that's pretty much it for inner ability. Thanks again for all of the support. We just hit 500 subscribers. If you enjoy guide videos like this, subscribe to the channel to see more. Let me know in the comment section below what inner ability that you're trying to get, and as always, good luck in the game, and until next time, peace!